Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Joe and I'm here for another AC Milan news live stream where I'll be giving you the latest news and rumors currently going on at AC Milan. Hope everyone is doing fine to a start of a new week. I'm still feeling pretty ecstatic after last night's result against Cagliari, not gonna lie. I know we didn't really perform that well, but in the end we got the 3 points and that's what mattered the most. So I'm very happy that we did get those 3 points. You know, you want to start off the week right. You want to start off knowing that you won over the weekend and not feeling sad or pretty much terrible. You know, you don't want to have that terrible feeling with the start of your week. But there is a very important week ahead as we're playing Torino in the midweek on Thursday in the Coppa Italia, and then the following Monday we're playing them again in the Serie A. But let's speak about the latest news and rumors currently going on at the club. Not many news to really speak about today. There haven't been that many updates considering who we're going after or who we could potentially sell. But there are some updates concerning Storari and Gabriel. Now, this deal was pretty much supposed to happen. I mentioned it all along last week and the previous week that there could be a potential loan swap between Milan and Cagliari for the goalkeepers. That is Storari coming to AC Milan and Gabriel going to Cagliari, primarily to get more playing time, to get some action, because he simply hasn't been seeing any due to the fact that Donnarumma has been in the spotlight throughout the whole season. So at the moment, it seems actually that the deal might not even go through, and that is because, according to some reports such as Sky, Milan are not convinced, and this was something that came up just today. It seems that Sino Europe, the team of Chinese investors, don't want to proceed with this potential swap. They're not convinced about Storari coming to Milan, bringing in something important besides his experience. I don't think that we really need it at Milan anyways. You know, I've been saying it all along from the first day that these reports were even mentioned. I'm not really bought by the fact that Storari could potentially return to Milan and be a secondary goalkeeper to Donnarumma. He's not going to get playing time. He's going to bring experience. I don't really see that experience being bought in, to be honest. The guy's 40 years old. Sure, he's played a lot, but, you know, it's still a team that conceded 42 goals. Like, if you're conceding that many goals, does a goalkeeper like Donnarumma really need that experience or from you? I don't think so. So I'm pretty happy that this deal is really not happening, at least for the moment. Sure, there's supposed to be a meeting nonetheless today between Milan and Cagliari to discuss further about this potential deal, but at the moment it seems that it won't happen. And speaking about Storari, there's another team that is currently interested in him, and that is Genoa. Now, you guys probably heard it already. Yesterday, their goalkeeper, Genoa's goalkeeper Perin, got injured, and he will be out for the rest of the season if I'm not mistaken. But it seems that they want to turn their heads towards Storari. But Gabriel, on the other hand, you see, because there's one end of the deal coming to Milan, and then there's the other end going to Cagliari. Gabriel still wants to leave Milan. He wants to get playing time. He's not happy that he's not getting any playing time at Milan, and therefore maybe he's forcing a move to Cagliari or another team in the Serie A. But it's still to remain to be seen, because, like I said, Milan are not bought by the idea of bringing in Storari now. Gabriel wants to leave. What's going to happen? We simply don't know. We're going to have to wait and see in the next few days what happens, or at least after the meeting takes place later today between Milan and Cagliari for this potential deal. We'll know more about it. But that is as far as we know about Storari and Gabriel. These are the latest updates that we have concerning the two goalkeepers. Now, moving on, I wanted to speak about Vangioni. This is another player that was set to leave. There were many reports linking him to a move to Sevilla. And today, by surprise, there was a report coming in from the sporting director of Sevilla. Actually, he mentioned this himself, so it's not even like a rumor or anything. He mentioned it himself. He said, Vangioni, at the moment, we're not closing a deal for Vangioni. I'm surprised that he's being talked about because he's certainly not an option for us. Like you could see, there's many reports going in the transfer windows, always with unreliable sources, stating that a player is close to a club, you might join them, so forth. Like I was reading earlier this morning, there were some reports saying Vangioni to Sevilla is almost a done deal. It's almost a done deal. And then out of nowhere, you see the sporting director of the club saying, no, that's completely not true. We're not even interested in this guy. It's not an option for us. That is why take your sources, or at least take the news that you're looking at from reliable sources that actually mention reputable sources that mention the facts right. So it seems that Vangioni to Sevilla won't be an option. I'm still backing him up to leave this winter. I think he's going to join another club nonetheless, whether it's Genoa or another club. I think he's going to leave on loan along with Rodrigo Eli. So I think these two players will both leave. To which team, we simply don't know. It's still pretty early in January, but I'm predicting them to leave Milan this winter on loan. I don't think it's going to be a permanent transfer anywhere, but definitely I think they have to leave because they're not getting any playing time, and I just don't see them fitting in the squad at this point of the season. Now, I also wanted to speak about Ignacio Abate. There is no transfer news or rumor connected to this name, of course, but I wanted to speak a bit about his injury because he did suffer a pretty nasty injury yesterday to his knee, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it was pretty serious. From the moment that I saw the impact of Abate and the Cagliari player, I knew that there was something wrong there. Now, the latest reports are saying that apparently the bruise on his knee is not serious. We don't really have to worry about him. It seems that we will be able to get him back very soon, but he will be going or at least he underwent some tests today. There's still no reports on how these tests actually came out, if he's okay to play or if not. But my guess is that he will be rested for a few more games. I don't think he's going to be playing this week against Torino in the Coppa Italia. I think Montella is at least going to rest him for the two games against Torino, both on Thursday and Monday. Maybe we'll see him in the following week when we face Napoli. But it's good that we take him out, at least for precaution reasons. We don't want to risk him even more and risk him for the big games. So it's good that he's not going to be playing. At least that's my opinion. I don't think he's going to be making a comeback this week. But what's important here to note is that at least the initial reports concerning his injury were stating that it's not serious, that we shouldn't really worry for a long-term injury, but we're still awaiting for the official test to be reported. So these are pretty much the news of the day. Like I said before, not many news to really report about, but I still want your opinion on what you think about, especially about the Storari Gabriel deal. Now, like I said, this was almost set in stone last week. They were saying that on Monday, which is today, after the game against Cagliari, this was going to be resolved. This deal was going to go through. Storari was even called up for Cagliari for yesterday's game because they knew that this deal was going to go through. And, out of nowhere, it seems that Milan are backing out of this potential deal. Sino Europe, that is the group of investors from China, don't want anything to do with Storari. At least that's what Sky is saying. So it might happen that this deal is not going to go through. Will Gabriel leave or will Gabriel not leave? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you think about potential players leaving the club, like Vangioni, for example. He's another player that was very linked to Sevilla, but Sevilla don't want him out of nowhere. So we'll see what happens with these players. Where they will go, I don't know yet. It's still very early in January, like I stated before. So we're still going to have to be patient and wait to see what happens later on this month. But getting straight into your comments, Clayton says, hey Gio, hope that my yesterday's prediction will work for next matches too because Torino are a strong team. Jeffrey says, yes, he really needed, Gabriel needs game time. So you're saying that this loan deal should go through? Is that what you're trying to say? Gabriel needs to go to Cagliari no matter what because he needs that playing time and we should just get Storari. Please clarify on that. Silly Wonka says, Gio, who would you like to see play a right back in Abate's absence, Deschio or Calabria? Very good point there, but I believe that Deschio will still be chosen over Calabria. At the end of the day, it is a Coppa Italia game. I think that they need to focus on bringing in players that have been playing quite a bit, at least this season. And Calabria hasn't been playing at all this season. Deschio has. So at least I think they should put in Deschio for the Coppa Italia. Or maybe they could try in Calabria for the Coppa Italia and put Deschio in for the Serie A match. But on the left side, I think Antonelli, it's pretty much safe to say that he's going to be starting those games if Abate will be out. So I'm predicting maybe a Calabria, Antonelli on the fullbacks for the Coppa Italia game and Deschio and Antonelli for the Serie A game. We'll see what happens though. Serial Killer says, do you think that Abate is a very underrated player at Milan? Even though he is the captain, doesn't always get the credit that he deserves. I miss the old Abate though. And this is something very interesting that you said. Yes, I miss the old Abate too, because I remember him back in the days. The guy was full of grit, very speedy, was always helping the team. I loved the runs that he was making. But, I don't know if you guys watched that video on the AC Milan channel. They were showing Abate's motivation, talking to the group. I think it was before the Roma game. And you could see his leadership skills there. Way better than Montolivo's, in my opinion. Abate is a leader. He's a guy that, even though he doesn't always get the credit that he deserves, like you said there, Serial Killer, I think, he deserves more. His performances are not always the best. He sure lacks in some things at times. But I think he's a way better captain than Montolivo for his fundamental leadership skills. I think that is way better to see a guy voice his opinion like Abate, be full of grit, have a nice presence in the team when he's talking to the rest of the teammates. And I just don't see the same thing in Montolivo, to be honest. Moving on. Is Kuchka going to be ready for next match? A lot of people are asking me about Kuchka. I still don't have any details about his possible return. I know that he picked up a knock in the game against, in the training a few days before yesterday's game. But there's still nothing about him possibly coming back. I don't think the extent of his injury was serious. I think it was just a knock, and he didn't participate in the Cagliari game for precaution reasons. So I think we should see him for Thursday. If you don't see him for Thursday, I think he should be back for Monday's game. Cameron Armstrong, how you doing, man? Nice talking to you yesterday, by the way, on Skype. He says, when Montolivo returns, you feel he should get the start, or should Locatelli, Pasalic replace him permanently? Now, Montolivo is gonna be coming back very late into the season. I'm predicting him to come back at the end of April, maybe May even. So I don't think he's gonna be ready to play when he comes back. Or if he's ready to play, maybe he's gonna get some playing time as a substitute. I don't think he's gonna become a starter out of nowhere as soon as he comes back from injury, for various reasons, of course. Like Locatelli is going to be playing, or if it's not Locatelli only, Bertolacci is going to be playing as well for a majority of the time. And these two guys will probably get some shared time in the regista position. I just don't think that Montolivo is going to be ready to make full appearances, or at least get 20-30 minutes in his legs by the end of the season. Because like I said, he is coming back late. I'm predicting a late April, early May return for him. So I really don't think that Montolivo will be getting some playing time when he does return. Ruthwick says, Ciao Gio, Deschio, right back. What are your thoughts? He looked better at right back yesterday. And yes, sure, that is his position. He does look better there. He's more confident, at least. That's what I'm saying from what I saw yesterday. I like him playing as a right back more. And that is why, this could definitely open the gates for Antonelli to be a consistent left back player in that role, because I find that every time there's a decision to be made from Montella whether to choose either De Sciglio or Antonelli in that left back position, and I always like Antonelli more than De Sciglio, at least in that position. And obviously, if you have to choose between Abate and De Sciglio for that right back, you would probably go with Abate. So we'll see what happens now that Abate is probably going to be missing a few games. We'll see what happens with that. But I think that De Sciglio and Antonelli could prove to be a pretty good duo for the fullbacks. Aniket says, Gio, what changes do you expect for the midweek match? I expect Lapadula and Bertolacci should come back to start. Maybe Gabriel in goal. I don't think that Gabriel will be in goal, to be honest with you. I've read some reports saying that maybe Donnarumma might share his time with Plizzarri in the midweek fixture against Torino. Still not too sure about that. We'll see what happens. But it all really depends on how far Milan want to go in this competition. Do they still want to play in this Coppa Italia or focus primarily on the Serie A? That is something that Milan will have to choose. But definitely expect some sort of rotation with the team. I think that there could be some changes in the midfield. Maybe Bonaventura could start once again as a winger and Yang given some time off. Maybe Bertolacci could be slotted back in that midfield. These are the type of changes that I'm expecting to be made for the midweek fixture. And I also read something about either Paletta or Romagnoli not playing in that match. So we'll see what happens, really. I don't know who could be a reliable replacement for one of those two. I hope I don't see Zapata, because that will make my hair turn white. But we'll see what happens for that. But definitely expect some changes. Moving on, says Jamie, Plizzarri should play in the Coppa so we can see what he's made of. I already saw a few games of Plizzarri. If you guys didn't see that, I think it was a preseason friendly against Bournemouth, if I'm not mistaken. He was playing in that match, and the guy was amazing. He's very good. He's a very good goalkeeper. I like how he is. Adamo actually made a video on him, speaking about him, a month or two ago. If you guys wanted to check that out, make sure to check the channel. But yes, he was doing. He's a very good young goalkeeper. I think he has a bright future ahead of him. Maybe he won't get the playing time that he needs at Milan, because Donnarumma will be getting the majority of the starts at Milan, and Plizzarri, he simply won't be getting much playing time here. So I think that maybe sooner or later he will be given away to another team, because as a young goalkeeper, you need to develop your skills. You need to play. You need to play, that's for sure, or else you're not gonna be as good as you're supposed to be. So he definitely needs playing time. We'll see what happens. It could be a possibility that he plays on Thursday. I don't think he's gonna start. I think Montella still wants to go pretty far in this competition, let's be honest. But we'll see. We'll see what he decides. How many Milan trophies have you seen in your life? Quite a couple. Quite a couple. Champions Leagues, I've witnessed two Champions Leagues. Witnessed 2 Scudettos, I believe, and a few other trophies. Could Cutone get some playing time? I don't think so. I would like to see him getting some playing time against Torino, but I simply don't think that he will. Where is Adamo? Adamo's been busy, but I actually spoke to him today. He wants to make more videos for Rossoneri TV, so expect him to make a return soon, hopefully. We're working on some different type of content we want to bring to the channel. Along with these live streams, we want to make some diverse content for you guys to check out as well. So make sure to check out for that. Is Matti still injured? I believe he is. People are saying leave Romagnoli out for the midweek fixture. Musacchio is injured again, says Aniket. We should definitely drop him off our wish list. Don't need a liability like him. Sick goals. Did we win yesterday? Of course we won. Weren't you on the watch along, man? You should have came. Yes, we did win 1-0. Match review, if you haven't watched it, is on the channel. We spoke all about it there. Some great phone calls on Skype from you guys, for whoever that called in. Amazing to hear that you guys are calling in on Skype and being featured live on the stream. Always great to see. If you guys haven't got the opportunity to do so, I'll be doing that for every match. So if you guys want to call in and giving your thoughts throughout the match on Skype, this is your time to do it whenever there's a game. Off topic. Blah XO says, would you like to see Milan move to a new but smaller stadium, or would you want them to stay at the San Siro forever? This is a good question. You know, the San Siro never really gets filled up. That's one problem that modern football really has at the moment. Big stadiums don't get filled up, and unfortunately, maybe if Milan, you know, become great again, they go into Champions League, they get to finals and so forth, maybe we'll see a packed San Siro again, but only then. Unfortunately, I think Milan's gonna have to go with a new stadium. Even though it's a bit smaller, I don't want it to be extremely small, like 40,000 fans. Even though if it's gonna be a bit smaller than the San Siro, you know, you're still gonna get a new infrastructure. It's gonna be a brand new stadium. It's gonna be evident to people. It's actually gonna be like something that people will want to go to because it's new. It's a new attraction, really. So I think even if it's a bit smaller, not necessarily much bigger, I'll be happy with a new stadium. Just a few more questions before I sign off. Jamie says, do you think Baka will be as good or even better than he was at the beginning of the season now that he scored? Now, this is a pretty crazy prediction that you're asking me to make. Hopefully, give him the confidence. That's what I'm hoping for, you know. He needed to get on that score sheet. He needed to score a goal. And he finally got that very important goal yesterday. How he's going to develop from now on until the end of the season, it's all up to him. I think he broke the ice now, and he needs to continue on this path. Will he be getting a lot more goals like he was doing at the beginning of the season? I definitely hope so, but this really all depends on him. I just hope that it wasn't a one-time thing yesterday where he managed to score that goal. He needs to be more of a creator. We all know that Baka doesn't have those qualities. He doesn't have those qualities of creating, getting the ball himself, creating chances for his teammates or for himself. He's a player that waits for the ball and then tries to get chances for himself. But, you know, I definitely hope that he improves from now on until the end of the season. We need his goals, just like anyone else in the team. We need goals. We need players to score. And if Baka's not getting the goals, then other players need to be there to make sure that they put them in the back of the net. So hopefully yesterday's goal was like a confidence boost for him. That's what I'm hoping for. But really, from now on until the end of the season, it's really going to matter on how he plays personally, how he feels personally, and what he could accomplish for him and for the rest of the team. Moving on, looking at Abate wearing a hairband scared me for a while, reminded me of Montolivo, says Anika. Yes, the San Siro is a brilliant stadium, and I love it. You know, we've been even making some developments in that stadium, if you guys believe it or not. Also due to the fact that the Champions League final was staged there. But I'm just saying, like, I love the San Siro, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful stadium, I love it. I'm just saying that I think the fans need some sort of motivation to go to the San Siro. And whether it is because Milan's gonna have to do better in the league, or when they make it to the Champions League, if they make it far, if they become a great team altogether again, I'm sure that the San Siro will be packed once again. But for the moment, what I'm saying is that the Chinese might actually think of making a new stadium for many reasons. You know, they wanted to make they want to market their stadium, because it's not going to be only Milan matches there. They're going to want to do other things like commercial centers and stuff like that around it. So we'll see what happens. I like the San Siro, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of being able to play in one of the greatest stadiums in the world. I just think that if we don't become a great team like we were used to, the fans need some sort of motivation, and I think a new stadium with new infrastructure, a new ability for them to go to, even though it's not as big as the San Siro, I'm not speaking like 40,000 because I really wouldn't want a stadium of 40,000. But at least if it's like 60,000, 65,000, I'll be more than happy. I think it's quite good for a team like us. You know, sometimes we don't need like the biggest stadiums to get the result that we need. Look at the Juventus stadium, for example. It's not that big, and they're still getting all the results that they need, you know, and they're using that stadium as a fortress now. So I think we need to, you know, go with the times, kind of develop our own infrastructure, and you know, have maybe a new home. That'll be nice to see. Carlos Baca says, Joe, do you remember the plans for the new stadium? And honestly, looked decent apart from the 40,000 capacity. I think it was a bit more than 40,000, wasn't it? But yes, it did look decent. I really like the plan that they had going for that new stadium. It's just, I just find it hilarious how AC Milan actually announced the whole stadium thing as if like they were going to start a project about it, and then they completely threw it out the window. I just find it hilarious. Like, who does that, right? Like, why do you even advertise it if you're not gonna end up doing it? Now, I think there are some updates considering Gabriel and Storari as I'm reading at the moment. Concerning the meeting, once again, reports are saying Sky is mentioning that Milan are not convinced about having Storari on loan. But there is a chance that Gabriel could even join Cagliari just the same on loan. Obviously, if he does leave, Milan will have to find a replacement, that's for sure. So, just an update on that situation. This is just coming in regarding Gabriel and Storari. Milan, not interested in Storari, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But Gabriel could still leave to Cagliari on loan. If he does leave, we will still have to find a replacement for Gabriel, as we need 3 goalkeepers. So we'll see what happens then. But really, Milan does not want Storari, and to me, that is good news. I'm happy about that. I don't think that we need Storari, but we'll see what happens with this whole situation. Gabriel to Cagliari on loan could still happen. Moving on, Caleb says, with the new money, we could buy it and market it our way. Are you talking about the San Siro? Yeah, maybe we could buy it, but at the same time, you know, it's the capacity of the stadium that's the problem. Will you really be sure of filling the San Siro on any given match day and maximize profits? Personally, I don't think so. Alberto Cruz says, just use Plizzari as a backup. Sure. I could definitely agree with that. I'll be happy with Plizzari as a backup. But the thing is that we're going to need 3 goalkeepers. It's a rule. You need 3 goalkeepers. So someone else has to join the club nonetheless. So we're going to have to get another goalkeeper no matter what. Cameron Armstrong says, in my opinion, a new, smaller stadium is better than a stadium full of heritage that is only 25% full for most home games. Although it would make me too angry to see Inter alone in our home. And that's exactly what I mean, you know. You said it perfectly there, Cameron. Why do we need to focus on goalkeeper? We are still lacking in other areas. We should focus in midfield, says Esborn. This is not about us focusing on goalkeepers. Gabriel wants out. He wants playing time. And we're trying to accommodate his needs. That's all this really is. We're not really focusing on the goalkeeper position. I think we're more than fine with that. It's just trying to accommodate Gabriel because he needs playing time. And he needs to join another team, for now, at least on loan, to get that playing time. That's why we're concerned about it. But we're definitely not focusing on the goalkeeper aspect of our team at the moment. We're just trying to accommodate Gabriel once again. Anika says, Gio, news coming in about the meeting with Cagliari. Yes, I already just spoke about it. Finally, one more comment from Jamie. He says, I think Gio, despite being 18 in a month, has quite a lot of experience and doesn't need it from Storari of all people. Completely agree with you. Blake says, what do you think of yesterday's performance from Locatelli? Amazing performance from Locatelli on his 19th birthday. I really couldn't ask for more. I was really happy with him, looking confident with the ball, helping out the defense, helping out the attack. Even when Milan shifted to a 4-2-4 formation and he was paired up with Bertolacci, he was capable of holding his own position there. So I was really happy with him. Once again, this guy is the future of Milan. He is going to be our regista, hopefully, for many years to come. So I'm hoping for even more from Locatelli in the near future. One more. Hey Gio, do you think Lapadula is more effective as a super sub or a starter, says Sebs SK? That's a very, very good question. I like that you asked that question because I was actually thinking the same thing today. And many people always ask me, who would you prefer to start, Bacca or Lapadula? Now, Lapadula, we all know, and this is the last point I'm going to be making for today. Lapadula, we all know that he's capable of being an influential player for Milan. Let's be honest. We saw it so many times when he came on as a sub. He scored against teams in the dying minutes. He assisted Carlos Bacca's goal yesterday. You know, this guy, it's like when it turns the 88th minute mark, he just turns into a beast. The guy turns into a beast and he sees fire. He sees red. He's like a bull seeing red. That's what Lapadula sees when it's the 80th minute, 85th minute. And I'm happy that he's that type of player. You know, I think we need an impact sub at this team because we simply don't have many impact subs at Milan. That's what we're lacking. I think we're missing out on that at the moment. At the same time, you know, if you kind of switch the scenarios around, Lapadula starting and Bacca being that potential sub, I don't think that's going to be a big influence on the team. What I mean by that is I don't think that Bacca could be as influential as Lapadula coming off the bench. We've seen it in the past and it really didn't work wonders for us. But if I would have to choose between him being that super sub or a starter, I think that Carlos Bacca could still be the player that he is. You know, he's still known for his goals. He scored 20 goals last season. He's still capable of banging in many goals. Now, he just scored yesterday. Hopefully his confidence improves. But I would still back him up to start. I think that he's still capable of getting in the goals. Like I said, maybe if from now on until the end of January, he still has many problems, then I will go for Lapadula. But now that he scored yesterday, I want to give him that confidence. I think he's capable of doing good things. I want to see how this month goes for him now that he scored yesterday. Will he be back? We'll see. But I think after this month, if he didn't return back to his old self, I think it's time to start Lapadula. That's my take on it. That's what I think for the moment. Locatelli or Donnarumma for captaincy in the future? Really last question. Donnarumma. I just think that Donnarumma is going to be like the next Buffon or something. And Buffon being captain of Juventus, I think that Donnarumma is going to be the captain of Milan in the future. That's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this news live stream. We're here every day to recap the latest AC Milan news and rumors. We also have match previews, reviews, watch-alongs for all of those guys that joined me yesterday for the Milan Cagliari watch-along. Thank you so much for joining me yesterday. We're going to have one on every game, so if you guys missed it yesterday, make sure to join us in the future. On that note, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything going on at the club on a daily basis. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another video. This has been Gio signing off, and as always, Forza Milan!